Welcome back to the Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another amazing video, and today is going to be a deck profile of my tri-colored Xeno Trunks deck. So, this is a leader that we got from set 3, one of the black card leaders, and I'll be honest, at first I kind of underestimated him. I was like, it's nice that we have a Xeno Trunks leader, but I don't think he's all that good. And boy was I wrong. I was so wrong about this guy. He's actually really amazing. So his auto is kind of interesting. It's once per turn when his card attacks, you place the top 2 cards of your deck in the drop area. And then if there's a red or blue card in your battle area or drop area, draw 1 card. So it doesn't have to be among the 2 you mill as long as there's a red or blue in your drop or a red or blue on your battlefield. And your battle area for the card there does not have to be a battle card, which that will be important in a few minutes. And his awakening is unlike most. He awakens at 4 life, but instead of retapping 2 energy or drawing 2 cards, you get to actually choose 1 card from your warp and add it to your hand. Any card whatsoever. Battle card, extra card, activate battle, counter, doesn't matter. If it's a card in your warp, you can add it to your hand, which is really amazing. And let's go ahead and take a look at his Awakened side. Super Saiyan Trunks, Protector of Time. Love that name. So his activate means once per turn, you place up to 2 cards from the top of your deck in the drop area. So it's not like his Unawakened where it has to be 2. This one could just be 1 if you really wanted. And you don't do this when he attacks either, you just activate it. And his auto is very long. When he attacks, you could draw 1 card, same as pretty much all of them. But it says, then you may choose 5 cards in your drop area and send them to your warp. You gain 5,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. So he becomes a double striker on his own, which is really, really amazing. And the fact that you only send 5 cards from your warp, from your drop area to your warp. So what that means is that if you do this, if you attack with him first and pull off your auto for the double strike, you can still overwhelm with whatever's left in your drop area to get another hard hitter. Like, I have ended games during that same turn I used this just by sending 5 I didn't need in my drop area to the warp, giving him that double strike, then just overwhelming into a Trunks, attacking with that, Xeno evolving, and then just keep on hitting them. So yeah, it can turn into a really crazy combo really fast, and especially if you do it on a turn when your opponent's completely tapped out, the right timing with this and they're done. I don't care what deck they're playing, they are done. Alright, so again, I heavily underestimated this leader. It's a really awesome leader. And as I said, this is a tri-colored deck, so we're running red, blue, and black. Gonna go over the red engine first. Now the cards I kept for red and blue are just very simple cards, nothing too crazy. So I've got 4 copies of Saiyan Kaba, mainly for awakening, but an early double strike or late game double strike really, really helps. Not to mention it adds a life to your hand, so it helps you awaken. Next up here, it's a little bit of an interesting card, Planet M2. And to be honest, shout out to the super players, because this was actually originally their idea for when they did their Xeno Trunks deck profile. So definitely I gotta give them full credit for this. I thought, wow, that's pretty interesting, but when I tried it, it's actually really good. So you pay 1 energy for this field card. Now, this is why I said about Trunks' Unawakened auto is important, because it is a red card in your battle area. So even though it's not a battle card, the auto says doesn't matter. So with this here, even if you mill all black, you still draw a card. So really, really good. And it's an activate battle. You switch this card to rest mode. If it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards. It loses 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. And if a battle card's power falls to 0, it is knocked out. So this is coming very much handy against opponents that like to play Saiyan Kaba, like I just showed you. And while you're attacking their leader, you can use this to drop their Kaba's power to 0 and knock it out. So that alone's amazing. Not to mention, it adds additional pressure onto your opponent, especially when you're hitting their leader, and it forces them to waste more resources to block a hit. And I gotta tell you, like, this card pays for itself in no time, because you put it in rest mode, and you can just keep doing it every single turn. So this card pays for itself in no time. Only thing is you can't take advantage of its auto because its auto only works if your leader card is Dr. Mew, but whatever. Doesn't really matter. Alright, last up for the Reds, I play 4 copy of Bodyguard Legic. Just to have a free blocker is just amazing. Not to mention, if I don't have a chance to play him for free, I can just use him as red energy. So yeah, the reason he's free for you guys who don't know is because of the fact that if your opponent has any battle cards in their battle area and you have no battle cards, you could play him for free, which that will happen quite a bit since for the most part this is a complete overwhelm deck. The majority of, like, about half, yeah, I think it's like 1 card more than half of our stuff is black overwhelm stuff. So you're going to be playing for free quite often. Not to mention a blocker that's 15,000 power, pretty solid. Pretty dang solid to play for free. Alright, next up we're going to go into our blue cards here. Once again, keeping them very basic. Got 4 copies of Senzu Bean. Being able to retap 2 and gain 5,000 power to a card, just too good to pass up, too good. Still one of the best cards in the game in my opinion, even with all the new stuff we're getting. 4 copy of Whis' Coercion. Now, I personally wouldn't run Time's Judgment or Vados' Assistance. Just because of the fact that I like being able to play a free counter even more. I might play Unending Awakening if only it didn't apply to red sand leaders. Like, if it just said sand leaders, then I won't lie, I might have possibly played Unending Awakening over Whis, but nah. Free negate, too good. Can't pass it up. Alright. And last for our blue cards here is going to be 4 copies of Jocko, just to help. Just when you combo with them, you bounce one of your opponent's combo cards back to their hand. So pretty good for defense. So exactly as the colors meant. Red is more offense minus Legic, and our blue is basically defense minus Senzu Bean, which could be both. So yeah, that does it for the red-blue line. As I said, very basic, 12 cards each. You don't want to get too fancy with a tricolor deck. Just focus on what you need for each one. And like I said, the main point of this is black Xeno evolving, which that's the majority of our deck. Alright, so let's start that right now. So first out here, going to be running 4 copies of Quick Blade Trunks. We actually run a pretty large Trunks engine here. So the reason I choose 4 Quick Blade is because unlike Mass Saiyan, which is like the most popular black leader, he only mills 2 per turn. And there's really not much you could do with 2 cards in your drop area. Usually you have to wait at least a turn to where you could get attack with them twice, get 4 cards in there before you can really do anything. And I don't know about you guys, but that's way too long to wait. So that's why I run him, because he's an Overwhelm 2, 15,000 power off the bat, and just off the bat, as its name implies, quick pressure. Very, very good. Like, I've been able to do like a massive charge against my opponent on my first turn because of this guy right here. Because I'm attacking with the leader, attacking with Kaba, and attacking with him. I've done that all, and it's pretty wild how much pressure you put on them that early. Alright. Next up here, I run 3 copies of Time Patrol Trunks. Now, the only reason I don't run 4 of him is because, once again, as I said with the leader, it only mills 2 per turn. So, we can't guarantee get this off every single turn like we could off the Mass Saiyan. So, sometimes you have to wait a little bit for Trunks, but that's not necessarily a bad thing to do because of the other red stuff that we have to do while we're waiting. Not to mention, some of the black cards here, you don't play with Overwhelm. So, yep, that's why. Now, as far as waiting a turn goes, this would be one of the cards I would wait a turn for. And that would be Trunks Power Overseeing Time. So, it is a Overwhelm 4, you tap 2 energy, and it has Double Strike, and when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose up to 1 battle card from your Warp and add it to your hand. So, you have 2 ways to get cards back from your Warp to your hand. You have your leader card's Awakening, and you have this guy to get a battle card, which I usually get my super combo card, but there are times where I've gotten other cards as well. So, very, very good here. Now, I've been debating on running a third one of this guy, just because when I do play him, he gets me out of pretty bad situations. But for now, I'm liking him at 2, because I don't like the fact of consistently having to wait a turn to do stuff. Alright, last up for the Trunks engine is going to be 3 copies of Killer Sword Trunks. He is the Xeno Evolve for Trunks Xeno. You tap 4 energy, and after you swing with one of your Xeno Trunks, you set into the warp and you play this guy in active mode. So it's almost like it's basically having 2 attackers in 1 turn with that. And this one has double strike, and when a card evolves to this card, choose up to 1 battle card in your warp with an energy cost of 3 or less and play it. So that's what I was saying about late game with this guy. Hit this double strike, hit with one of the random Trunkses, Xeno Evolve into this for double strike, then bring out another card that can either hit him really hard or something else that goes for double strike like a Kaba. So this guy right here, in my opinion, is probably the best Xeno Evolve card we have at the game right now. Xeno Bardock Super Saiyan 3 is debatable, but I like the fact that you could bring him up for 4 energy instead of having to wait till you get the 5th one with the Bardock. That's really the only reason, not to mention this goes with our Trunks engine so much better. It just fits. Because regardless whether you run Xeno Trunks for Killer Sword or the Bardock line, you have to run at least a small Trunks engine with this deck, I feel. Just because it's too good. So that's why I run him over Xeno Bardock. If you want to run Xeno Bardock, by all means go for it, because he is a scary monster. I will admit that. I am terrified of that Bardock, but to me he's just quicker and can still put on a lot of pressure. Alright, next up is what I believe to be a very underrated card, and that's going to be Power Aura Mira. So he's an Overwhelm 3, and his permanent is when you have 3 or more cards in your warp, this card gains 5,000 power. If you have 5 or more cards in your warp, this card gains an additional 5,000 power. So basically, if you have 5 or more cards in your warp, he's a 25 beater that you just pay an Overwhelm of 3 to get out. So that's really amazing. And when you play this guy, you Overwhelm 3, you already have 3 cards in there. He alone becomes a 20,000 beater just off that. Like, wow. Like, he hits extremely hard. Not to mention, he's a 3-drop. You can get him out with Killer Sword Trunks, and his permanent has nothing to do with the fact that he was overwhelmed. So even if you play this guy by hard tapping 3 or bring him out with Killer Sword Trunks, he still gains that permanent of that 25,000 power. So he is really insanely good. Perfect for taking out certain cards or just putting some quick pressure on your opponent's leader. Alright. Next up is going to be a bit of a Mass Sand engine. 3 copies of Increasing Evil Mass Sand. Overwhelm of 4, you tap 1 energy. And the auto is when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose 1 card of your life, add it to your hand. So it's another way to self-awaken along with Kaba. And you choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and set into the warp. So it acts as self-awakening and spot removal. So this guy is insanely good. And this is another one that I would be more than definitely willing to wait a turn to play. So yeah, it's stuff like him, the 4-drop Trunks here, and this lovely Mass Sand right here. Mass Sand, the Mysterious Warrior. Overwhelm of 5, tap 1, gains double strike. And when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose any number of your opponent's battle cards that do not have blocker for the total cards that adds up to 5 or less and set them all to the warp. So really good spot removal, except for blockers, unfortunately. And it's double strike on top of that, and you only tap 1 energy. So it's stuff like the stuff I mentioned. These are the kind of cards mainly that you want to wait a turn to Overwhelm for. So that's why certain Overwhelm cards you might have noticed that most people play, I don't play, because there's just, if I have to wait a turn, I want to do so much more than those standard ones. Like for example, the Crit Mirror. I like the Crit Mirror, but the only reason I don't is, as I said, if I have to wait a turn, there are so many other things I'd rather do. Like, there's so many better options to have to try to get back your value. All right, next up here is probably one of the only black cards that does not use Overwhelm, and that is Haru Attacker Majin. It's got critical, which is already pretty good. And one of its autos is you place up to 2 cards from the top of the deck in the drop area. So it helps load up your tongue-tied there. It helps load up your drop to overwhelm. And the second auto is what's really broken. When you play this card, if your opponent's leader is green or yellow, choose up to 4 of your energy and switch them to active mode. So a combo I really love doing when my opponent's playing yellow or green, which, let's face it, even with Mecha Frieza being gone soon, Cell is still going to see so much play. So yeah, this is definitely not a dead card by any means, even once Mecha Frieza gets its errata. So what I like to do is attack with any kind of Trunks, doesn't really matter which one. Tap 4 energy to bring out Killer Sword Trunks, search my Warp for Haru Haru, bring out Haru Haru with Killer Sword Trunks' auto, and then use the 2 autos to mill and re-tap the 4 energy I spent to play Killer Sword Trunks. So it's like I essentially got him out for free. Like, you get so much value with this card. So pretty much you pay 4 energy, you get back 4 energy, and you have a double strike and a crit. Like, it's just too good. This is probably the biggest reason why I would almost always choose Killer Sword Trunks over the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. Just because you get so much more value out of it, in my opinion. But again, I can definitely see why people would want to run the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, because that thing's a monster. But this combo right here, when I pull off this combo, that's it. I have yet to lose a game against a green or yellow leader when I pull off this combo. I have yet to lose. So yeah, I can't stress enough how powerful this combo is. And last up is going to be 4 copies of Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. This is just our super combo card here. But what's really cool about this is that you get to play this card when you have 5 cards in your Warp, which you could pull off by turn 2 easily. So it is the quickest super combo card we could play. And it's the usual, gain 10,000 into its combo, draw 1 card. Standard stuff. So this is another card that this is the card I end up getting most whenever I play Trunks Power Over Saiyan Time. It's usually this card right here. But luckily, the battle card we get is not restricted, so it doesn't have to be this card if there's something else you want to get. And with that, that's going to include my tricolored Xeno Trunks deck profile. If you guys like this deck, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, like I said, this could very well be the next main deck I play because it's just so good. And I'm trying to work with Mirror right now too. I haven't found a thing from Mirror that works for me yet, but I am trying. And hopefully sometime in the future I could give you guys a fully powered Mirror deck profile as well, because I really do like Mirror. So with that, guys, hope you all have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me here. And with that, you've been released.